Good morning. This is Dave Weber, the independent candidate for the Senate for 2018. And today's What You Need to Know segment is going to be very short and to the point. Everybody has policies and platforms, and I think hopefully people know my conservative values pretty much mirror that of President Trump, with perhaps a few exceptions. Um, what we need to focus on, I think, more in New York State as well as in this country is the lack of negativity. Everything is negative. The mainstream media wants to tear down the president. They are totally unhinged. There is nothing positive that they report. They never report anything positive that comes of the president's agenda or what he does or says. They only spin everything negatively. Uh, it's not as though past presidents haven't had negative things said about them, but journalism today has now turned biased, and it's all one way. It's never both sides of the coin. It never tells the good and the bad. Free speech in journalism should include telling the whole story, not just the way you want to spin it. It's more opinion than it is true journalism. Then let's talk about our elected leaders. What is the story with our elected leaders in the Senate and in the House and everywhere, even on the state levels and local levels? They just don't seem to understand what their oath of office meant. When I was growing up, I remember President John F. Kennedy. Now, we all know he was not a perfect individual any more than Donald Trump. He was a philanderer. He played around with women on the side. That was never made public. There was no social media back then to put it in the spotlight. But as the years went by, especially after his death, it all came out in the open with his affairs with Marilyn Monroe. But back then, people trusted the government. They loved our president, and he espoused a lot more positivity, and people felt good about things. With a spin going one way in the media and in the nation, people really don't understand what all the truths really are because they're not hearing everything. They're hearing only one opinion. I'll never forget President Kennedy's inauguration speech in January in 1961, when his famous line was, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." Now, many people thought he was talking about the public, the voters, the American people. But you know what? I think that that particular part of the speech is today should be more directed at our elected leaders, because all they care about is what the country can do for them. They don't care about what they can do for the country. And that's why they were elected, to do for the country what they promised in their campaigns. Promises are all only words. If you talk the talk, you better be able to walk the walk. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a similar situation in the New York Senate race right now. Kirsten Gillibrand likes to talk the talk. Now, she's been proven she can't walk the walk. Michelle Farley, the GOP nominee, she talks the same talk over and over again. I've never seen any speech, heard any speech, or seen a letter that I've gotten in the mail or a Facebook or TV ad that says anything differently than what she said in her speeches about the $40 billion coming back to New York. extra that was sent to the federal government. You've got to have more to your program, to your platform than just that. I'm here to tell everybody my focus, my agenda is on what is needed for the people of New York and, of course, the United States. We need clear leadership on specific issues that affect everyone in New York State in particular. And there's certain areas in New York where specific things are going on that need to be addressed. You need to be aware of local issues. Those are the things that I'm concerned about. I'm not concerned about my campaign and raising money because it's going to happen if people believe. I said once, I think the last segment, what have you got to lose? And I have nothing to lose because everything I've got in this campaign is my money. Very small amounts of donations have come in, and I appreciate those. But most of what's in my campaign is my money. So I've got very little to lose, and you have nothing to lose by electing someone who's an outsider who does not espouse all these crazy things about, sayings and things that are not, don't have any meat to them. I intend to fix Social Security. I intend to drive the tax burden down in New York State. I intend to create jobs by doing that. I intend to think outside the box when you're solving problems like the opioid problem. You've got to go after the source. I intend to do all these things. I intend to support immigration reform and secure our borders. I intend to do all these things. I never hear any of the other candidates talking about this. Why would you want to vote for a Democrat who now is embracing socialism and free everything with no way to pay for it? Why would a Democrat? I would be embarrassed if I was a Democrat to vote for Kirsten Gillibrand. And Shel Farley, she's a good person, but again, she is just their little elite pawn they put out there. I sometimes wonder whether the GOP in New York State really wants to win one of these elections. Well, I'm telling you, I'm in it to win it, and I can win it, but I need your votes in November. I'm not going to be on the ballot. The state election law makes it virtually impossible for an outsider's grassroots candidates like myself to get all the signatures on petitions that they need within a 30-day period that they give you to get on the ballot in November. We fell short by about 5,000 this time. But that doesn't mean you can't vote for me. You just have to write my name in on the ballot. So we're going to be trying to make some visits around the state. I've done that for a year now. A lot of people have seen me. You know what I'm all about. What I say is what I believe. I don't need a speechwriter to tell me what to say. I'm the person who understands what each and every one of you are going through. I will not ask my country to do what they can for me. I will do what I can for my country and my state. And that is what you need to know. Thank you. And I'll see you next time, hopefully tomorrow morning. Have a great Sunday.